Hello and welcome back. Now at this point it has been so long since I last done an update for you guys that I can't even remember what the last thing was that I managed to film for you. There's been lots of work going on here, mainly bodywork, so that's the reason why there hasn't been much of an update, because to be fair, there's only so much of me sanding down a panel that you can probably see to be entertained. For me, it's a couple of seconds and I'm bored and I want to move on to the next exciting thing. Unfortunately, exciting things at the minute have not been happening. It has all been the boring bodywork side of things, which takes forever and only gets exciting towards the end when you get to see the final product. Nobody wants to see the graft in between. You just want to go from one point to the next, and it looks great. So that's why there's been a lot of content. But I have now actually been sponsored by Mishimoto. So they have sent me some bits and pieces for the forged SR20 going into the SIL 80. So we're going to unpackage to see what they've actually given us today. Also, before we start getting into the package that Mishimoto have sent us, here's what we have done so far as well. We've now got the 450 pump in tank of this one, so this one is now ready to go. As you see, the tank has all been refurbed and it's absolutely spunking, and I'm very happy with that. My fenders are now in stock for the Skyline, so these are now ready for purchase. Here's how they look, absolutely beautiful. We have one box ready to go off. This is for a gentleman in Italy this is going to, so thank you very much for buying these, and we'll look forward to seeing them on your car. But anyway, I digress. Let's get in to what Mishimoto have sent. Okay, so a couple of days after ordering from Mishimoto, once I reached out to them and told them exactly what I needed for the SIL 80 build, they came up with a solution that I was happy with. Now this is going to be a oil cooler and sandwich plate which has a thermostat in it, so it's not going to be opening all the time. It will be open when the car is up to temperature. AN lines, a big swag bag, kind of cool. We'll see what's in that in a second. I just want to get to the goodies. More braided line, AN fittings, excellent. Oh, that's nice. That'll be the sandwich plate. Would you look at that? Look at the quality. Really nice. Really nice. This is one of the reasons why I was so glad to have Mishimoto on board for this build and future builds, because their stuff has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I bought quite a few of their bits and pieces over the years for various builds. I've never had a problem. One of the things I did buy from them, one of the first times I had experience with Mishimoto, was when I had a 350Z. The radiators on them, the fans, they tend to fail from factory. They're not the best. Very nice. Yeah, they're not the best, and they're super expensive when you try to buy replacement items from Nissan. It's actually a lot cheaper for me to buy from Mishimoto upgraded fans with a nice cowling on it than it was to buy one single fan from Nissan. So again, no brainer, turn to Mishimoto, and ever since then I've never looked back when it comes to any of my cooling products. So to be able to get them on board for a sponsorship deal, absolutely brilliant. There we have 19 row oil cooler. This should keep control of temperatures that this engine should produce quite nicely. Okay, so now we've got that lot unboxed, let's get the engine out, get this a lot offered up. Okay, so I've gone ahead and got the oil filter off of this. There's a little bit of oil left in there, hence why I've got a little bit of tissue there just to sort of mop up any mess. Now this is, quite frankly, a lovely little bit of kit. It comes with two fittings to go onto it to make sure I've got the right ones, because this is a universal kit. They didn't have one specifically for an SR20 or an RB or anything like that. So I've got the universal one, and the universal one comes with the correct fittings that I actually need for this. Now, next thing is to decide which angle I'm going to put this at. as I want these lines to come down in a certain direction and not interfere with anything. So I think, to be fair, probably straight down, maybe the best bet. It is a little bit tight. So you've got to remember I've got the alternator here. In fact, you know what? I think it's going to be worth me bolting the alternator on just so I know what clearance I've actually got on this. So, awkward now, but let me just go and get the alternator. Let's do that. Okay, this does not leave me a lot of room. See if I've got any AN10 90-degree fittings around this place. Maybe. Okay, so I have my AN10 fittings, which are actually from my Skyline. Since, you know, that's not going anywhere and the engine's literally sat behind you guys as I'm filming this, I think it's safe to say we're okay to borrow the AN10 fittings. By the way, plugged for JDM Garage. Focus in. Ever gonna focus in? Okay, JDM Garage, there you go. AN fittings. Okay, so I've decided to throw on the link sensor using the adapter from my Skyline, which still happens to be the same adapters you're going to need for the SR20, so that's absolutely perfect. Just to see what sort of clearance I had. Now I'm going to be really tight with this one because either I've got a choice of trying to rotate this 90 degrees to point downwards, but then I'm not going to have enough clearance on the engine mount, so I'd have to cut a part of the engine mount out so I could then have it go down either side of that one. Or I've got the option of leaving it where it is, which is very tight around the bracketry for the alternator bracket. I've only got to dig out just a tiny little bit, just about rather than fingering it. I've just got to dig out a little bit just back here. So if I just take out one tiny little sort of half moon back there, I think that will give me enough clearance to be able to then get in there. Because as we can see, the belt is not quite on. Rather difficult to do is one-handed. Oh, but the belt is very nearly ready to go on, and all it's ever going to do is come back towards this way, away from where that needs to be. So I think I'll take this off, grind that down a little bit, and I reckon then I should be able to keep that into that sort of position in that area. I mean, it is tight. It is tight, but yeah, that top one he's absolutely fine. He's got clearance on everything he needs clearance for. It's just that bottom one. I just need to go just a tiny little bit more. Not a lot, just a tiny little bit. I've got room for the top one to go up. I mean, I've got massive room for the top one to go up, so yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So, take it back off, grind that down, see what I can figure out. And here is me foolishly thinking that this was going to be a straightforward thing. Ha! I should have known better, shouldn't I? Right, let's get to chopping. Okay, let's get this back on and see how far off we actually are, considering that was a by eyeball. Take a little more off of that angle there. I think what I want to be able to do is get the belt on comfortably. I'm nearly there, so. Am I? But am I nearly there? Okay. Part 2. Take 2. Take 2. Let's see what we got. Nice darkness then. Ha! Turns out we have a power outage. Mother. Well, lights back on, that's one thing. Still not enough. Problem is, I don't want to start taking too much out of that because at the end of the day, it's a racket and it's there for a reason. Okay, I'm just going to take a little corner off and just see what happens. Take 4. Right, take 73. Haha. Yeah, boy! Got there in the end. Okay. And now what that's going to do is pull down as you tension it, which gives me a little bit more space there to get my shiz in there. That was a lot of hard work for what it needed to be, but it's going to keep everything nice and tight as I want it to be, and keep everything nice and compact. I think I'm going to have to chop down this bracket a little bit just because it's going to be a little bit too close to the pipework there. I don't want it to come around and get tight on there. So I'll just shave off just the edge of that one, I think. Back to the cutting board, I think. So there we have it. I do believe I am done. I have clearance for that one. I have clearance for that one. Alternator is on. Belt is tensioned. Yeah, and I am all good in the hood. It is still very tight around everything. It's very compact, but yeah, I do have clearances all over, so that will do. Now it's a case of figuring out where I'm going to run these lines from, which is going to be too big of a deal. I mean, it's going to sort of come out and then down towards the chassis leg, so where it's corner, where it's going to run is going to be down in the wing. So yeah, pretty simple now, I hope. Whoa, I shouldn't have said that, should I? Okay, now I have a really bad feeling I'm actually going to regret saying that. What's the worst that can happen? It can't be too bad from now on, can it? Also, whilst I think about it, I'll show you guys how tight things are on this engine now. The reason the turbo isn't on this as of yet is because I'm waiting for a flange to come back to obviously change this from a whatever size this flange is, T25, T28, whatever flange that is, to the V-band that I need. This is how close it is to get the manifold to not touch the aircon, because this is still going to be a street driven car, so this needs to have aircon. Excuse the dust on it, it is absolutely minging, but yeah, have to modify everything to get clearance on all of this, and then I'm obviously going to have to put some heat protection across here, stop this touching. The dipstick has had to be changed and modified as well to again miss the manifold. Again, super tight. Just clearance issues for everything that's going on. This is, the tolerances are minute, but this is all going to go on and be as close to a road car with 500 brake horsepower as I think you can possibly get. So fingers crossed we can get this all buttoned up soon and get this thing in, because to be fair, I'm dying to get this thing back in the car. Not just because I can have the floor space back, just because, you know, that desperately needs an engine back in there. Oh, and also something interesting is going to happen with that gearbox as well, but we'll save that for a later update, I think. I am a little teased. Okay, since I got this side of things pretty much where I want them, and I can't really do much more until I get the engine back in. I can start making the lines and seeing out exactly where they're going to go. So, popping onto the other side of the engine, let's start mocking up the turbo setup. Now, I'm still waiting on the flange for this one, as I said a minute ago, but I've just sort of bottled it down kind of roughly where it needs to be, just so I can get an idea of where I'm going to get the feeds from for everything for this, because again, this is exceptionally tight all over the place. I now have in the block the AN fitting for the feed, so that'll be fine. I need to come down on a 45-degree angle to come away from the bottom of the manifold, come down then to come straight back up to the top for the feed on that one, that's fine. Waterline on this side is going to be an issue. Waterline on this side shouldn't be much of a problem, to be fair, but for now, one thing I have just noticed is the power steering pump. Now, that is going to be reasonably tight, so I did have to get another power steering pump for this because the car was originally high cast. We're now going full high cast elite with a different subframe, which means changing the pump as well and the reservoir bottle. So there's the new power steering pump. Yeah, as you see, it's a little bit on the scabby side, so let's give this thing a clean up before it goes on, because I don't do getting dirty with things like this. So this is to date probably one of the best things I think I've ever actually brought. This means everything gets done and is immaculate. Oh. Well. Yeah, let's get this off my thumb, so I don't want to get it on the inside of the gloves, and get that thing clean. You know what, boys? I think that would just about do it. Let's have a look. I'll try to do this one-handed. I'm out. How much better does that look? Yeah, much better. Cool. Let's get some, well, I will get some paint on that, but not today. I'll fill this up, see where the pipes are going to come, so I think we're going to have some interference issues. How difficult doing this one-handed. I can't even do it one-handed. Okay, it's going to be close, but I think, to be fair, I think we're going to be okay. Oh shit, I've got to change the bracket as well. Bracket's different thickness. There's always something in there. Okay. Clean that bracket up back somewhere then as well. But rather than bore you with more sandblasting, let's just go for the old still can't do it on my right hand. What's up with that? Hey, here we go. How much better is that? Love it. Right, I'm going to put the camera down, offer it up, change everything around, and see what we got. So is this the best bit of equipment I brought for the workshop so far? It is! Couldn't be happier with this thing. This is probably the best 200 quid I think I've ever spent in the workshop. Brilliant. Why didn't I do it sooner? Here we go, all back on, and I think we're going to be fine. I think we have enough clearance between the manifold, bottom of the turbo, and the back of the power steering pump to squeeze everything in, which is good, I suppose. I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, with everything else that's going to give me issues, that's quite nice that that's not going to give me problems. But anyway, learning day as always. Who would have known that the bracket would have been different for the power steering pump if it's between a high cast and non-high cast pump? The more you know, eh? And now I think it's going to be the time that I'm actually going to get to work on the drain for this turbo. As you see, it's very, very tight down there, so I do not want to be using a braided line. I want to try and use a hard line as much as possible so I can fix it into the position that it needs to be in. It's going to have zero flex, and it's not going to touch against manifolds, it's not going to touch against chassis legs or anything like that. It's just going to go on and be perfect. So now I need to try and find a little flange. I'm sure I've got one here somewhere. I'll offer something up, take some measurements and see what I can make up. I have a plan. I do have a plan, but I don't know, I'm probably going to need a little bit more research before I put it into full process, but I think what I've got in my head is going to work. But we're going to wait and see, I suppose. So as it turns out, I do have the correct fitting that I wanted. Now I wanted to have one of these with a AN10 fitting, which is exactly what I had. It has a rubber O-ring on the inside, all bolts up nicely, absolutely fine. Now the reason I didn't want to go for just a straight pipe coming out of here is because I want to be able to kick this away from where this mounts on the flange. So I need to kick it away in that direction. So put a 45-degree angle on the end of that AN10 with a open end on the end of that one, So it's going to be just a small coupler basically of rubber hose to join one part of the hard pipe to the bottom part. So as you would get from standard, because it does go straight to the block there, you have a little rubber fitting to go on there, the rubber tube. That's exactly what we're going to have for this top and bottom. So it's going to be pretty much stock in terms of that fitment. But I need to now go out and organize some bits and pieces. So let's go see if the Sylvia is still out there. Ah, did you look at that? It is. Alright, let's go get the keys, go get some parts. Not a bad little parts car, I suppose, is it? Ha. And now we are where we need to be. B&Q. In the plumbing section, and I believe I've sorted it. That's 15mm internal diameter-ish, give or take. So I think that should do it. It's 2 meters long as well, so, you know, I've got more than enough to play with. Now I need to find a pipe bender for this thing. Obviously, I don't have plumbing tools at my place. No, not quite. Okay, leave this with me, I'll find out. Okay, so it appears that they do not have a pipe bender for the size that I need in this place, which is a little bit annoying to say the least, so I'm going to have to go shopping somewhere else now. By the way, look at my beard in this mask. It's not look right. And back to the car and try and get all this in. Should be good fun. Here we go. What was I even worried about? Plenty of space. Right, now on to somewhere else so I can get a 15mm pipe bender. Fun times. Okay, small detour before we do go and get some other bits and pieces. Yes. Let's treat the old girl. Ah, it's a bit of a cute. That's cool. That's fine. Let's get this thing washed. Even though it's going to get covered in rubbish literally as soon as I drive out of this place, it is always important, boys, to keep your car clean because it's going to save it from rusting. And with this being old Nissans, we know how this goes. See, now I know what you're thinking. Yes, this is lazy. I should be doing it myself, but quite frankly, I don't have the time. I don't really have the facilities for washing stuff. These guys do it. It's Christmas. Let's keep people in jobs. And plus, it's fucking cold out there, so no, I'll let these guys do it. They want to do it. They're fine. See, how much better is that? No more covered in shit. See the only one I can find, and it's nearly 40 quid. But needs must. Okay, so I'm back. I have this little bad boy, I have that bad boy, and now I'm going to start cutting that pipe up to see what I can make to go on there. I had a couple of little attempts, but let's see if I can actually get it done properly this time. Okay, it is now attempt 3 at doing this. I'm still struggling to get this done in one piece. Now, I can do it in 2 pieces, but I really don't want to. I want to have this done in one piece. The joys of having it done in one piece is you have a joint in it, it's just another point of failure for future reference. And I don't really want there to be any issues with oil returns on this. Oils, manifolds, exhaust. Not a good idea to have a leak around that area. So get it done in one piece. As much of a pain in the ass as it is, it's so much better to get it done in one piece. So I'm just going to carry on doing that and get that finished up, but not in this video. I'm going to save that for another one. I'm going to leave it here, so thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're that guy that keeps on disliking all of my videos, honestly, give it a thumbs up this time, mate, because you're impressive. I really do appreciate it though. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you again next time.